Mike Boyd, welcome to the program. Mike, how are you?
Well, I'm doing fine, sir. Honored to be here.
Thank you. So, thank you for coming on. I've been asking for a interview with Secretary Duffy, and we haven't been able to align the schedules yet. But I am very concerned about our airlines. I was on a plane. These were all American Airlines, by the way. I was on a plane. The pilot we got on, it was like 2 hours, 3 hours late. And we got on, and the pilot was standing in the aisle, and he said, "Hey, everybody, I don't want you to blame the airlines. I want you to blame me." And we're like, "Oh, okay." And he said, because I wouldn't accept the plane that they wanted us to fly because I've flown it before, and it has problems, and they haven't fixed those problems. And the only way it's going to be fixed is if we reject it and say I can't fly. I don't know if that's true or not, or what this guy, what the story was, but that didn't fill me with confidence. I'm like, wait a minute. So you're actually saying the airline's not repairing a plane? And I don't think our airplanes are in trouble and going to start falling out of the sky, but that has been happening lately. What is happening with our airlines?
Well, I think the experience you had, that one specific one, we've done a lot of work with, I come from an American Airlines background, but nevertheless, we've done a lot of work with Americans pilots unions. These are very professional people. And if that guy stood up there and said, "I'm not confident with this airplane," that's a safety plus.
Oh, I appreciated that. We thanked him for that. Thank you.
But we have a major problem then with American Airlines. If you have pilots saying, "I don't trust you," these are not yo-yos. These aren't good humor men.
Right.
These are professionals. And if they say that, we have a problem at American. If all this happened on American, I think you might want to call the folks down there in Fort Worth at their brand new American Way headquarters they spent billions on and ask them some questions. But overall, I haven't seen that. Are there big problems with air traffic control? Yes, no question about that. And we finally have somebody at the FAA and at DOT who has a clue, and I think that'll be addressed. But overall, if it was just on one airline, you're on the right track as far as looking at it.
Okay. So but are you seeing this kind of stuff happening with other airlines?
No.
I mean, I'm flying out of Dallas all the time, so I generally fly American, and I occasionally will fly Delta, but it's mainly American. So I just assumed this was happening on other airlines as well, because I mean, I'm reading the comments from people, and they're like, "I can't trust that I can get there the next day anymore," and that's a real problem.
Well, because air travel is, I have to get there time certain. This is not a game. I've got to get to the bar mitzvah, whatever I'm going to. So if I can't get there, I'm not going to go. And the reason I'm not going to go is you can't get me there. Now, if you look at reliability, and again, we've had some issues like Frontier Airlines. If you want to see Saturday night fights, go to YouTube and you'll see a gate event at Frontier Airlines. It's really bad. But if you look at others like our friends at United Airlines, and I don't really work for those guys, they have a system where if you book on United very often, they're with you the whole damn trip. If you don't like a lot of text messages, don't book them. They're with you the whole time, and their CEO is functionally anal about making sure customers know whatever went on, whatever it is, take it or leave it. So from that, it's going better. But I think you may have stumbled over something that affects the Metroplex more than anything else.
So because I've been on the plane and everybody's like, we're going to have missing, you're going to miss your connections, blah, blah, blah. And everybody knows it. Is the airline system set up almost like the just-in-time supply line, that if it did ever go into catastrophic failure, it would be a real problem? Because, it's one plane arrives just in time for everybody to unload and reload and take off again.
Well, see, that's just the issue. Like in ancient times, our friends at Southwest could come in and go in 10 minutes. Today, you can't get 10 seats emptied in that amount of time. So they're really trying to cut down the amount of time they're on the ground. That makes sense. The question is they've got to have systems that allow them to do that. Now, Delta's put in a very comprehensive system. Don't only work for Delta, but where they have been able to better coordinate all those things and do a better job of it. But you're right. If you're coming in and going out, and that airplane has to do a go-around coming into Atlanta, that could be 15 minutes. That 15 minutes could mean you can't get across to Terminal E to get your connection. That's going to happen.
Tell me about the situation, because Stu, you did a documentary on how bad the air traffic control system was, right?
Yes, I did.
And is that on YouTube still?
It is.
What's the name of it?
It's called Countdown to the Next Aviation Disaster.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately, the countdown was not as long as you'd hoped it would have been.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what's going on in our air traffic control, and I would never want to be an air traffic controller. The stress these guys are under, and that's not, I'm not even calculating the stress on how close these planes are flying in and out now. I mean, I'm just thinking, back in the good old days where it was very stressful. Now they're still passing paper to each other, and these planes are one right on top of the other one. When are we going to change this system and update it?
Duffy's doing that. Duffy's on it, and we finally have an FAA administrator who has a clue. Brian Bedford. He's been around. No, I've known him for 40 years. This man knows the business, and he's all business. And I know he's good because Chuck Schumer doesn't like him. So that right there underlines everything right there.
Right.
So I think that is starting right now. Look, we testified to Congress in 1994 on this, on a free flight system that you could make it far more efficient. The FAA blew it off. The FAA has always been a repository of some really great people at the operational level, but at the top, these are just political appointees. Take a look at the FAA administrator that the last president wanted, Phil Washington. Nice guy, clueless, but he was a good appointee. We can't do that anymore, and I think we're going to see some major changes right now.
Now, how long is it going to take us to fix this?
Well, one of the things, it's sort of like what Duffy said. Well, there was a program in place to fix it over the next 5 years. That's ridiculous. So he's on it. I mean, he just went up to Wisconsin. He found the oldest control tower in the nation. He said, we're going to fix this. He's really making a point of trying to get it done, and I think he's doing it, incrementally. Where we're at, like Newark, what a disaster. I don't mean the city necessarily. I do, but but the airport. He's trying to make that work better. This guy is on it. So I'm thinking 18 months. It's going to be incremental, but we're going to start to see this happen.
In Newark or in the country?
In the country, because we can have a free flight system that is far more efficient than what we've had in the past.
What does it mean, a free flight system?
There's a free flight system, and they don't want to ignore this, where every airplane takes off and it finds its own way. Keep in mind, the skies aren't crowded. You can put 250,000, count them, 737s in a cubic mile of airspace parked, not moving. But that's 250,000 of them. And any time in America today in the sky, you might have just 14,000 airplanes in the sky.
Wow.
But that's over like 11 million cubic miles of airspace. So we can use our airspace better. But what we have had is, quite frankly, an FAA that hasn't want to even think about it. It's more worried about itself. I am convinced that's going to change over the next 2 years.
And are we close to having AI do all of this free flight stuff? I mean, I imagine that you don't. I mean, you don't need to check in with Tower if AI is assisting finding it.
Exactly, we've got to use that. And again, a lot of it, it's head of the FAA has always been kind of the helm of the Titanic. He says slow down, and by the time it gets back to the engine room, it's we've hit the iceberg. I think it's one of those things where we have to recognize a lot of stuff has to change organizationally at the FAA and at the Department of Transportation. I think finally we've got people that can actually address that.
Wow, this is wildly optimistic, and I'm happy to hear that. I like Secretary Duffy. I don't know much about him, but not enough to be able to say with confidence like you are talking. It makes me feel really good because I'm very concerned about our air travel. It's not good. It's not good. Not going in the right direction.
It is. It's going in the right direction. More carriers have found out if I treat the customer right, they might come back and fly me. Yeah. And that's happening now where people are getting away from some of these really low-fare airlines where the seat is like, a bucket seat in a C-119. They don't want to fly those things anymore. And people like United and Delta and other carriers are saying, we'll take your business, and they are.
I got to tell you, I feel at times I'll be on a plane, and I think we are like one scruffy dog with one blue eye just walking down the aisle creepily away from third world airlines. I mean, it's like there are times I'm like, is there a chicken going to run down the aisle too? Is this? I mean, what country do we live in? It's beyond. It really is the Greyhound of the sky now.
Oh, it is. There's no question. Like, my mother was a stewardess in the 1930s. Everybody dressed up.
Yes.
Today, you're lucky if everybody is dressed.
I don't know why we haven't had you on before, Mike. You're very funny. Mike, thank you so much for an inside look on this. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Mike Boyd, aviation expert from the Boyd Group International. He's the president and CEO. He's a guy who consults all these airlines and tries to help fix them, and is also testifying in front of Congress all the time on how can we fix this. Maybe he's right. Maybe we have some people that will actually now listen and fix it because they have the skill and the knowledge set that the other leaders should have had the whole time.